all night long, all night long. So welcome. It's who's the guy that sings that song again? Is it Lionel Richie? Have I even said his name right? Is that a guy? I don't know. But welcome to my ramblings on, if you care, on Doctor Who, the Stephen Moffat era, which was from 2010 to 2017, or Series 5 through to Series 10. It's an era of the show that people are now re-evaluating. At the time, it got panned. At least the sort of second half of it. I'm not really sure about the first half. I was just a wee boy. But it's now trendy to say that actually the best showrunner is Stephen Moffat. Let me tell you, one, that's incorrect. Two, people weren't saying that at the time. Let me tell you. Anyway, just up, so why not start the day with a shave later on and Doctor Who reviews. How about that? First of all, Stephen Moffat took over in Series 5. I ain't gonna lie to you. The best season they ever did. Best season they ever did. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. Matt Smith's the Doctor. You got Amy Pond's the sidekick. And Rory Williams is like part-time sidekick. He's like in half the episodes, if I remember right in this moment. Pretty much a fresh new start for the show. They only really continue two plot lines in this series from previous series. They carry the Dalek plotline, as in like the Daleks as a whole, not the episode Dalek, and the River Song plotline. Even though this episode has got some stingy dingies like The Beast Below or Victory of the Daleks or the Cold Blood two-parter, which aren't bad, but they're just a bit boring. It's pretty good. A satisfying end to the story arc. Matt Smith is wonderful as the 11th Doctor. Definitely in my top seasons of the modern show. They've done a really good job continuing it from the Welshman, from the gay saviour. Now we go on to Series 6, which came out in 2011, and Series 6 doesn't exist. Fuck it. Let's have a fucking cider in the morning, shall we? No, it's actually a monster. But, oh, sweet nectar. The BBC started experimenting with the format of the show. Because apparently has a hellish production schedule. So Series 5 had a normal schedule. It was just 13 episodes. There really wasn't a thing called Series 6. In 2011 we got two mini-series. Series 6A and 6B. This DVD sort of combined them into one package. I mean, I think if a new fan were to watch that Series 6, I don't think they'd even notice that it's just two mini-series. And maybe I'm being a bit pedantic there, but we'll talk about Series 6A first, which is composed of 7 episodes and was released in the spring of 2011. Matt Smith's the Doctor again, Amy Pond's the sidekick, Roy Williams is now a full-time sidekick, and I guess you've got River Song as a part-time sidekick. She appears in like half the episodes in this mini-series. Series 6 I'd give like an 8 out of 10. Even though like a lot of the episodes are pretty smelly. So like The Curse with the Black Spots, horrendous. The Rebel Flesh two-parter is a bit horrendous. But The Impossible Astronaut two-parter, pretty good. Has one of the show's most iconic villains, the Silence. I don't know why, I just really like The Impossible Astronaut two-parter. The Doctor's Wife, written by an interesting person, shall we say. Maybe a criminal, we'll see. Pretty good story, The Doctor's Wife. And they've got a pretty good finale, A Good Man Goes to War. The whole story arc for this miniseries is pretty well executed. Probably one of the best story arcs we've ever had for any season. Storyline's pretty much what's going on with Amy and who is the eye patch woman. Series 6A and 6B share an overall story arc. But let's talk about Series 6B, which aired in the autumn of 2011. It's composed of 6 episodes, and yeah, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Definitely some stinky bad episodes, like the last 2 episodes of that miniseries are pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. On the Barbie, I don't know, folks. Mate, sometimes you're just off your age, Ken. That's alright. They do mess up the overall story arc for both miniseries. Yeah. It's alright. Not much to be said, really. I mean, there's some underrated stories in here, like Night Terrors. I think that's a bonga. Let's Kill Hitler. Not the best story, but it satisfies the reptilian part of your brain. Just a lot of dumb action scenes and dumb dialogue, and sort of makes you go, yeah, this is good, man. It's like a good it's like a good B movie, you know what I mean? The God Complex I don't remember much about. The Girl Who Waited is a banger. And then, yeah, the other 2 episodes, Closing Time and The Wedding of River Song, are pretty bad. And then after that, you get one of the most boring Christmas specials. And I'd even say the most boring Doctor Who episode of all time. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Like, it actually makes you angry watching it with how boring it is. Yeah. So the BBC continue their experimentation of the format again. This time they're going to do 1 miniseries a year. So we get another lie, another big lie by the big bastard corporation, the big fucking liars. Series 7, which isn't a thing. I am being pedantic. Like I say, it's not a thing, and then, you know, the mini-series I'm on about are called Series 7A and 7B. It's like, dude, come on. But no, I'm going to stick to my guns, guys. Series 7A aired in 2012. It's composed of 5 episodes. And it's alright, it's alright. Like a 7 out of 10, I guess. Maybe. The storyline for that miniseries is essentially the marriage between Amy and Rory going wrong. That's the storyline. Yeah, that's really about it. Not much to say. And then you got Series 7B, which aired in 2013. It's composed of 7 episodes. This time we've got a brand new sidekick. We've got Clara Oswald, who was hated at the time, by the way. People just had a hate boner for her. I just had a boner for her. You know, no, okay. Let's relax here. It's honestly alright. The plot line is essentially, who is Clara? Yeah. This miniseries also fell upon the 50th anniversary of the show. So it's quite a bit of a fan service. The Cybermen show up, the Ice Warriors show up, the Great Intelligence show up. And in a special, the Zygons show up. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright, Link. I'd say we're probably out of the golden age of the show. I'd say like the first, I'd say series 1 through 6B. I'd call that the golden age of Doctor Who. We're probably in like the bronze age now. The quality of the show is like next. Anyway, next we have a scam. We have the 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor. Camera movement. Now, I don't know why this wasn't thrown in the Series 7 or Series 8 box set, but there you go. Essentially, the premise is that it's a team-up between David Tennant's Doctor Who and Matt Smith's Doctor Who. And they invent a new Doctor Who for the special. John Hurt's Doctor Who, the War Doctor. Originally, Christopher Eccleston was meant to take the place of John Hurt, and it would have been up to that point, all the modern Doctor Who's teaming up. But Christopher Eccleston, I think he didn't like the script or something, and he was also a bit weary about working with the BBC because of behind-the-scenes drama when he was in Doctor Who. Anyway, the hype for the 50th anniversary was insane. I was a child then, but I remember being super hyped. I remember thinking this could be one of the best Doctor Who episodes of all time. So what do I think of it? I think it's a 7 out of 10. It's overrated as hell. There was a poll in Doctor Who magazine, which asked what's the best Matt Smith story, and they said this story, The Day of the Doctor. And I'm there thinking, what? No, it's not. Like, The Girl in the Fireplace I think is better than that, or even like something like Night Terrors I'd prefer for that. But not a bad wee story, like, of course, spoilers, Tom Baker shows up at the end, that's nice. It's just a nice B-movie, you know what I mean? Just a bit of a laugh. Anyway, next we have another con. We go from The Day of the Doctor to The Time of the Doctor, which is the 2013 Christmas special, and again isn't in the Series 7 or 8 box set. They sometimes do that. They put specials in like separate DVD boxes and never sell them in a box set, because that's how you make the old money there. You gotta keep your eye on the dollar if you want to feed your family. Anyway, Moffat wanted Matt Smith to stay for Series 8, but because Matt Smith and Stephen Moffat had an agreement that he would stay for 4 years. Now, Stephen Moffat meant 4 years as in 4 series. Bear in mind, if we combine each of the mini-series into a series, and we count Series 5, and Matt Smith's only stayed for 3 series, the equivalent to 3 series. Bit split over 4 years. Matt Smith said, well, I've stayed for 4 years. 2010, 11, 12 and 13. But Moffat's like, no, you haven't. You've stayed for Series 5, 6 and 7, you ball bag. But Matt's like, I need to go, bro. And Moffat's like, alright, fine. So the Time of the Doctor was pretty much going to be, was meant to be the plot line of a fourth Matt Smith series, but smashed into how many minutes? That's not right. I don't know, until like 90 minutes or something, 75 minutes, 90 minutes. A lot of fan service. The Daleks show up, the Cybermen, the Sontarans, the Weeping Angels, spoilers, the Time Lords. Yeah, it's a charming little story. I know it always gets people crying, because of course Matt Smith's Doctor Who dies in this one. Yeah, at the time, I remember being pumped for this story, because as when you're a kid, you know, a Doctor Who leaving is a big bloody deal. But as an adult, you're like, okay, fine. I guess that's just the end of his run. Cool. On to the next. 7 out of 10, to be honest. I think this probably would have been a better, like, Series 8 than a special. But there you go. There you go. A little tearjerker for you. I was going to record this in 2 parts because, you know, even I get sick of my own voice after a while. And because Moffat's era is so bloody long. But let's continue. Let's continue. You know what I'm saying, guys? Let's continue. You know, as I talk in front of the Saltire there, flag of Scotland, and as I talk in front of the Union Jack, flag of the UK, not just the flag of England, it's the flag of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland also, because you foreigners always mix that up and end up calling me English. Now, I don't have a problem with the English at all. I'm not an idiot. But don't call me English. I'm British. I'm Scottish, but I'm also British. Scottish is a type of British person, not a type of English, a type of British. English is another type of British. Anyway. Little free education for you. Series 8, which aired in 2014. This is the debut season of Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who. Clara Oswald continues to be the sidekick. And they experiment with the format again. Because fans complained about the mini-series approach. So for 2014, they just had one big series again. But this time it was only 12 episodes long. Stephen Moffat was tempted to bow out with Matt Smith, but then he found out that I think this is how the story goes. Then he found out that Peter Capaldi was going to be Doctor Who next, and he was like, I need to write for him. At least a season or 2 for him. This series, 7 out of 10. It's just a bit of a laugh. I don't think it knows what it's doing. It sort of feels like it's wandering around just doing random stuff. Or maybe I'm going nuts. Because it does technically continue pretty serious plot lines from earlier in the show. It continues the Master plotline. Spoilers. Because in this series, famously, they have a new incarnation of the Master. And this Master is played by a fucking woman. Okay, what I mean? A woman! Us sci-fi fans, we maybe don't have as much contact with women as normal people. So I think that's maybe why you had this fucking hysterical reaction to it. Michelle Gomez playing the Master there. And, I think she's pretty good. I think she's pretty bloody good in the role, actually. I don't hate women. God, I'm acting like such a douchebag. It's not a bad wee run. Deep Breath is a funny episode, which is weird. It's probably one of the funniest Doctor Who episodes. Into the Dalek is interesting. Robot of Sherwood's pretty funny. Listen is underrated as heck. Time Heist is good. The Lodger is a sequel. The Caretaker is a sequel to The Lodger. I guess a spiritual successor. That's pretty good. You know I like my Lodger stuff. Kill the Moon is trash. Mummy on the Orient Express is pretty good. Flatline is, it's alright. And then, is it called In the Garden of the Night? Trash. And then you've got the Death in Heaven 2-parter, which is okay. And, yeah. Moffat probably should have left after Series 7B or after the 2014 Christmas special. But, Series 8's alright. And also, you might have realised that the cover of the Series 8 box set isn't like, it's not in the same style as the Series 5 through 7 box sets. Or if you're watching my video on the RTD1 era, all the box sets from his era. Because those were re-releases of those series for the 50th anniversary, which is in 2014, of course. This came out in 2014, after those DVDs came out, so... And I guess they're like, well... I guess they didn't want to keep up the format. But there you go. Next we have... Series 9. A chunky ass box set. All the box sets up until this point were pretty slim, but that one's chunky. Or at least the re-released box sets were. And the Series 9 box set came out after the re-releases and after the Series 8 box set, which was slim, but then they decided to make it chunky. Series 9, they experiment with the format again. It's still 12 episodes, but like half the stories are 2-parters. Yeah. Even there's a bunch of 1-parters that lead right into one another. This is an alright season. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Some people think that Series 9 is among the best series of modern Doctor Who. What are you smoking? Peter Capaldi's back as the Doctor. Clara Oswald is back as the sidekick. Series 8 sort of left off, implying that the plotline for Series 9 would be trying to find Gallifrey. Last minute, Moffat rewrote the entire plotline for Series 9 because he thought, that sounds like a stupid plotline. Because you just go in from episode to episode saying, is Gallifrey in this area of the universe? No. Okay, let's try next week. He thought that was a bad plotline. And so Series 9 sort of feels a bit barren. There's some interesting stuff. Of course, you've got Heaven Sent in here, which is one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever written. You've got an interesting Davros 2-parter, an interesting Zygon 2-parter, which has one of the best speeches in Doctor Who, the Time War speech. The finale's a bit smelly poo-poo, hell-bent. That's Series 9 for you. That's Series 9, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about Series 9, right? Then we've got Series 10, beautiful box set. Okay, here's the deal with Series 10. Here's the deal with Series 10. 12 episodes. Peter Capaldi's back as the Doctor. two new sidekicks. I think they're among my favourite sidekicks ever. You've got Nardole, also known as Matt Lucas. And you've also got Pearl Mackie, who plays Bill Potts, who's a lesbian. And a black lesbian at that. Around this time, the show starts to get shit for being too woke. I don't know. I don't know what's the alternative to that being fucking asleep. Anyway, because they make some criticisms of capitalism in an episode called Oxygen. And why am I acting like a fucking nutter? Why am I acting like a nutter? And also because Bill tells the Doctor several times, I'm into ladies. Is that okay? And now we get a bit of lesbian action in the finale, man. As in, they kiss, but they don't make out. Goch, I tell you, that's one of my favourite scenes anyway. Stephen Moffat was given an extra year to make this series because he didn't want to make it. Because he knew how woke it would be, how woke they would force him to make it. No, because he wanted to leave after Series 9. The BBC were like, yeah, bet. Asked Chris Chibnall to be showrunner for Series 10 onwards. He said, I have commitments. I can do Series 11 onwards, though. And they're like, okay, bet. So they asked Toby Whitehouse, I believe, to be showrunner for Series 10 only. And he's like, no, I'll be the showrunner for Series 10 and more, but not for Series 10 onward. That's just smelly. And so they go back to Stephen Moffat and say, yo, bro, make Series 10. We'll give you an extra year to make it. And he's like, okay, you're asking a lot, guys, but sure. And he said, I'm not going to continue like any plot lines or the vast majority of plot lines. It's just going to be its own thing. And it is. It continues the master plot line. But that's it. So that's Starpine Series 10. You've got a wonderful finale, World Enough in Time. My second favourite Doctor Who story, at least in the modern era. It has the original Cybermen in it, the 1966 Cybermen, the Mondasian Cybermen, or also known as the Mark I Cybermen. Wonderfully creepy creatures, with their cloth faces, and they're sort of like, they're sort of like wearing ski masks, and they got these big like ornamental headpieces, and I guess you could call them that. And these big fucking washing machine chests. And they've got that weird fucking butler robot voice. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And of course, the Master shows up, Michelle Gomez, and John Sims Master from Doctor Who Series 3 and Series 4.5. Series 10 I'd give a 6 out of 10. A lot of the stories are a bit, you know what I mean, a bit, it's alright, like, yeah, I love the main cast in this series, though. They rival Donna for being, like, just wonderful with the Doctor. Okay. And we get the last episode of the Stephen Moffat era coming right up. Well, Twice Upon a Time, which is the 2017 Christmas special. The Peter Capaldi's Doctor teams up with the very first Doctor, a guy, William Hartnell's Doctor Who, of course. William Hartnell is well dead at this point, so it's actually David Bradley. It's David Bradley, isn't it? Yeah, that isn't the guy that played Graham in the Chibnall era. Yes, David Bradley. It's alright, it's like a 7 out of 10. it's a cool idea, the First and the 12th Doctor teaming up, running away from glass ladies. Also, you get to see the Brigadier's granddad or dad, which is very cool. And also Bill shows up, and of course Clara makes a cameo at the end, and Nardole makes a cameo at the end, and goes on about his nipples being made of glass and not being bald. Yeah. It's alright, like, and then you get Peter Capaldi's regeneration with his, like, 12-hour speech that he makes. Charming little speech. And, yeah. Oh, random fact as well. Susan was meant to show up in Series 10. Susan is the very first sidekick of the show, going back to the 60s. And people are on about Susan showing up nowadays. Like, she should show up now. I'm just saying, they're trying since 2017. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. The Stephen Moffat era, if I were to rate out of 10, because like the first like third of it's actually pretty good, and then it just gets a bit smelly, or it gets very mixed, I should say. Like a 6 out of 10. That might be a bit too low, but I don't know. I'm not cool. I'm not a hipster. Maybe it should be a 12 out of 10. I don't know. Anyway, am I right, guys? It's a shame that they didn't make any more episodes of Doctor Who past Twice Upon a Time, eh? It's a shame that this is the last Doctor Who story, man. eh? It's a shame that nothing happened after that. Because I don't like women. No, if you don't know, Twice Upon a Time is Peter Capaldi's last story. I'm gonna cry. Because then after that, the Doctor is played by a fucking woman. Which was a huge deal at the time. I remember being mad excited. Anyway, I'll leave that for the Chibnall era video. You know. There you go. A lot of rambling, a lot of digressions, a lot of insanity in this one. But I hope you enjoyed. And together we can have a better future and a better tomorrow. Thank you very much.